Hey guys, and welcome back to tonight's live. I didn't expect to be back tonight, but here we are. Here we are. So welcome in. Welcome into everybody. Hey Riddler, I got your email. Oh, good. Yeah, oh, good. He said it's been exciting and educational. Well, that's what we try. We try to be exciting and educational, but more importantly, exciting. We like to be exciting. Nikki, you're probably so right. I got super excited, and I know that he probably won't say much, but he better, because he's going to have to under law. But before we get into tonight's live, go ahead and hit the like button for me if you guys don't mind. Go ahead and smash the subscribe if you haven't hit the subscribe yet. We're really close to actually hitting 12.6 subscribers. It's a weird scale whenever you get past 10,000 subscribers. You don't get like a different number change. So mentally, when the numbers don't change every 10, they do now every 100. So I look forward to that. So, plus, it's a free thing to do. It's fun to do. And thank you guys all for being here. Thank you, Elbeam. It's been a good birthday today. It's been a really good birthday. It's been such a good birthday, and I've been on here twice. I don't even know what's up with that. What's up with that? It was actually Vincent's idea. He said late night live, and I said, oh, yeah, good idea. We ate some food, and we spent some time together, and it was a good birthday. It was a really good birthday. So far, so good. So if you guys did miss the live from earlier, I was live earlier today. If you guys haven't heard, we covered the Chelsea Grimm case. She's out in Arizona. Well, she's from California, but she's missing in Arizona. So if you guys wouldn't mind, and you have the time after the live, if you guys want to check it out, that would be so great, because we're trying to get as many eyes as we can get on this case. And we all kind of bring something different, I feel like. Everybody that I've watched cover it, everybody thinks kind of differently. So it's different. So, but tonight we're going to be talking about Natalee Holloway. Let me go ahead and put her picture up here. And if you guys don't mind just taking a second to hit the like button, like I said, subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to become a member of this beautiful channel, I'm going to put the link in the for the membership in the chat, because it is a fabulous community we have here. We really do. Thank you guys. Oh, thanks for all the happy birthdays. That's so sweet. T's house, I was surprised to see you back on, especially since it's your birthday. Me too. I really was, but I just love you guys so much. I missed ya. So we're going to go ahead and talk about, so Joran, or however you pronounce his name, Joran Sloot. He is going to be in Alabama. He's going to make an Alabama court appearance Wednesday. And this could give Natalee Holloway's family information that they have been seeking since she disappeared back in 2005. The main suspect in her disappearance and Holloway's disappearance, she's pictured there with the beautiful pearls. And of course, he's, beside her. The main suspect is expected to plead guilty to charges of extorting and defrauding the teen's mother, which is Beth. I don't know if you guys remember back, I don't even know what year it was he did that extortion, but he extorted her. He wanted to get $250,000 from her. He ended up getting $25,000 from her. He said, hey, I'll tell you where your daughter is. I'll tell you what happened to her if you give me some money. And she did it because she's a mother and she wanted to know where her daughter was. I couldn't imagine having that decision, making a decision like that. And he lied to her and he took off with her money. So since they didn't get him for, M, they're trying to get him for something, and if it's going to give this family answers, then give this family some answers, because he's going to be in jail for the rest of his probably natural born life anyway. But it's not known what the specific charges in the extortion case that he will plead guilty to. But a condition of that plea deal requires him to reveal how Holloway died and how her body was disposed of. Sentencing will also take place. Joran Sloot will finish his time in a Peruvian jail before returning to serve out his U.S. sentence. So he'll go back to Peru, go and serve his sentence for the other, unaliving that he did. And then he'll come back over here. Thank you, Be Happy, for gifting out memberships. Just gifted out 5 memberships. That's so sweet. Thank you. That's so nice. Thank you. So nice. This was your first crime case? Sharon, okay, so me and Natalee are the same age, pretty much. She was graduated 2005. I graduated 2004. And look at her. She's beautiful. I was like, I told Vincent today, I was like, I wanted to be her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Me in high school, I just had I had brown hair. Guys and the girls always I don't know. People just like the girls with the blonde hair and the bubbly personality and stuff. And I just kind of wasn't that person. And she was just like that inner person that I was like, I looked at her and I was like, she's beautiful. She's sweet. And all of the videos that we've seen of her, I'm just like, she's like the person that you want. Like she lived her life the right way, I would like to say. That's like the way I'm trying to say it. But she was one of the first, probably for me too, I would say, because when I watched other cases, those were more for like my dad would watch, like the OJ trial. That was my dad. I was, 9 years old when that went on TV. I wasn't like, hey, turn on the OJ trial, but I did watch all of it because we tape recorded the whole thing. So we couldn't watch anything in our house till it was over. But this case was really big in our household, the Natalee Holloway case. I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, look at her. If this can happen to her, this can happen to anybody. And you go, to this beautiful island for your senior trip. Oh man. But she's beyond beautiful. So sentencing is also going to take place tomorrow. So I didn't realize that this was happening tomorrow until tonight. Like, right before we were getting ready to eat dinner, I was like, what? My camera just turned off. What the heck? Oh wait, I don't have that thing on tonight. That's weird. We thought we fixed that problem. But hold on, let me see if I can fix my camera. I hate when it does that because then it messes me up. This was I saw that, Margaret. This was her first crime case too. Let's see if my camera will turn back on here in a second. Okay, I'm going to do something really quick. Give me just 1 second. Okay, let's try it now. Okay. My other monitor's not on, but we're working with a lot of stuff over here, a lot of machinery. We thought we figured out the problem, but I guess that wasn't the problem. Because I did an update today though on my phone. I wonder if it did to my computer with my watch. I don't know. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I'm back. Oh, thank you. JR Anna Boomer. That's so sweet. Thank you. She says, oh, wow, you are so young. You don't look older. You sound older, wiser. Happy birthday. Thank you. I appreciate that. Because I feel 38. And I don't feel too bad though. I feel pretty good. I'm lucky enough to have another day to, another birthday here. So hey, King Scarlet News, how are you? This is an oldie. So we actually covered this. I don't know if you guys were here for that live. It would have been, I don't know if we did a full blown live. I swear we did do a whole live when he got extradited over here. If we didn't do a full live, we had a segment on one of our lives with this case. And I just assumed that when I saw stuff popping up about him and, Natalee Holloway, I thought it was just going to be one of those things where it was just nothing. But then when I, I saw Nancy Grace, I was like, I wonder if Nancy Grace put out a podcast tonight. That's how this started. And so I went on there and I was like, what? And I read the description and I was like, what? So he is supposed to go to court tomorrow and plead guilty to these financial crimes that he committed against Natalee's mom. And in exchange for a leaner sentence, he's supposed to tell investigators and Natalee's mom what happened to her daughter and where he discarded her. Is what it said. I'm pretty sure it was. I think that was the exact word. So, it's just so bad. And it's like, it's been 18 years. 18 years. Could you imagine being her mom? Maybe you're going to have that. I would have that little bit of hope that this guy he'll actually come through and say what he's going to and do what he says he's going to do. But we've heard this before. And as I was getting ready for the live, I was doing my thumbnail. I saw that Riddler actually had emailed me some stuff on this. And I was like, I have to go live because this is happening tomorrow. So by tomorrow, we may know what happened to her. Now, it may not be the truth because he's a liar, but it should be. He's going to be under, the court's authority. His dad's also a judge. You think that would have some bearing on it, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Oh, Margot, thank you for becoming a member. Oh, look, and they give you a little tighten on your back. Look at my camera is off again. I am going to freak out on this camera. Okay, we're just going to turn it off for a minute. I don't know why he's doing that. Okay, we'll just do it like this for a minute. I'm just going to keep it off for a second. We'll turn all of it off and give it a break because I did have it on the whole time I was like out of the house. So we'll read through this and then I'll try to turn it back on. And this will get everybody kind of up to speed too. If you guys are like, we didn't even know that Joran, I can never say his name, Joran Vandersloot was even here. Like, because he just got here a few months ago, beginning of the summer. So it says the suspect in the unsolved 2005 disappearance of Alabama teenager Natalee Holloway, who is accused of extorting and defrauding the teen's mother, is expected to enter a guilty plea to federal charges at a Wednesday hearing, an attorney for her family says. It is not known what specific charges in the extortion case he will plead guilty to or what the sentence will be. Vandersloot, one of the last people seen with the 18-year-old Holloway before she vanished, was indicted in 2010 on federal charges of extortion and wire fraud in connection with a plot to sell information about the whereabouts of Holloway's remains in exchange for $250,000. According to an indictment filed in the Northern District of Alabama. Oh, that's okay. You've been a member for 8 months. That's so exciting, Margot. That's really exciting. Thank you for being a member. That's like, you're one of the top members. You've been here the longest. I love that. It says it is not known what specific charges. Oh, I read that part. Sorry. Holloway's family attorney, John Q. Kelly, confirmed to CNN Vandersloot intends to plead guilty in connection to the case. Kelly told NBC's Today Show that a condition of the plea deal requires Vandersloot to reveal details of how Holloway died and how her body was disposed of. There won't be any further investigation or search for Natalee's remains, Kelly said on Today. That's crazy. If he points and he's like, this is where she's at, I know that they've done this before, this cat and mouse game, and I know it's been 18 years, but if they're in the condition to where like they could maybe be possibly you could find her, then I would say you go find her. But me personally, I think he might have driven her out into the ocean and put her out in the water. For her not to be found this long, I don't know. CNN has sought further information from Kelly and has also sought comment from the U.S. Justice Department and police in Aruba, where Holloway disappeared. Vandersloot was transferred in June to the United States from a prison in Peru, where he's serving a 28-year sentence for the 2010 murder of Stephanie Flores, 21, in his Lima, Peru hotel room. If you're not familiar with that case, this was after, Miss Natalee, vanished, was killed. He met this girl, Stephanie Flores, in a casino. And in a casino, they played, some games together, went back to his hotel room, and she didn't make it out. And he was convicted of that. Under the agreement between Peru and the U.S., Vandersloot would first return to Peru to finish the murder sentence in the Flores case. Then he would be brought back to the U.S. to begin serving whatever sentence he receives for U.S.-based charges. According to the indictment, Holloway's mother wired $15,000 to a bank account Vandersloot held in the Netherlands, and through an attorney gave him another $10,000 in person. Once he had the initial $25,000, Vandersloot showed the attorney Kelly where Natalee Holloway's remains allegedly were hidden, but later admitted by email the information was worthless, the indictment states. The teenager was last seen 18 years ago leaving a nightclub with Vandersloot and two other men on the Dutch Caribbean island of Aruba. Police in Aruba arrested and released Vandersloot and his brothers Deepak and Satish Kalpoe multiple times in 2005 and 2007 in connection with Holloway's disappearance. Attorneys for the men maintained their innocence throughout the investigation. In December 2007, the Arubian Police Prosecutor's Office said none of the three would be charged and dropped the cases against them, citing insufficient evidence. A judge in Alabama signed an order declaring Holloway legally dead 5 years later. It's so crazy that they can legally, pronounce her dead or declare her dead and not have any idea of where she could be. It's just so sad. I was trying to see if, it's just not want to come on tonight. Okay, well, be weird. I'm going to try it one more time this way. Hold on one second, guys. Thank you. And if you guys don't mind just taking a second to hit the like button, it really helps. And we're going to move on from this. I'm going to show you guys a video, but I wanted to see if I could just get my camera to work really quick one more time. There it goes. We'll probably turn back off, but we'll see. Maybe if I keep this monitor off, it'll be okay. So I wanted to show you guys this before I show you the Nancy Grace episode, but this is just Court TV. They're just going to give us a little rundown on what's going to happen tomorrow. So thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it. And I'll be in the chat with you guys. I'm just going to play this and I'll be right in the chat with you.
Before we go back into court, though, we do have an update in the Natalee Holloway case. Joran Vandersloot, the chief suspect in Holloway's disappearance back in 2005, is expected to now plead guilty to trying to extort money from Holloway's mother. Vandersloot was recently extradited to Alabama to face the extradition charges. His sentence is scheduled for October 18th. Vandersloot is serving a 28-year sentence in Peru after admitting to killing a woman there in 2010.
That's right. We know Natalee Holloway. I remember watching this. She vanished in 2005. While on the high school graduation trip to Aruba, she was last seen leaving a bar with Vandersloot at that time. And Court TV's Kelly Craft gives us a look back at Vandersloot's past.
It has been 18 years since Natalee Holloway vanished while on a senior trip in Aruba, and 13 years since Stephanie Flores was murdered in Peru. Joran Vandersloot has been the #1 suspect in Natalee's disappearance, and he confessed to beating Stephanie Flores to death. Cole Thompson, a former Court TV senior producer, co-authored a book called A Portrait of a Monster. It profiles Joran Vandersloot and the many twists and turns in this case.
In 2005, when Natalee disappeared, I was working for Court TV. I was working with Catherine Cryer. It was just one of those huge stories that captured the everybody's attention. It was like OJ or John Benet Ramsey or Scott Peterson. 5 years to the day, almost the same thing happens again in Peru. And I just got incredibly lucky. Just through a series of acquaintances, wound up being introduced to the actual investigative team, the Red Ball team that was handling the homicide. And for some reason, they just took a liking to me.
In 2010, Vandersloot was in Peru where he met Stephanie Flores. But to get to Peru, he needed money. He got that money by allegedly extorting Beth Holloway, claiming he would take her to show her her daughter's remains for $250,000.
He approached the Holloways. He asked for this money. Now he's screaming entrapment. But he used this money to fund his trip to Peru, where another girl died. If he hadn't had this money, he would have been stuck in Aruba. This must weigh heavily on everybody involved.
Thompson was embedded with authorities in Peru. In the book, lead homicide investigator Captain Juan Callis Vargas tells Thompson this about the death of Stephanie Flores. The beating was overkill, savage, and the level of violence indicated that he had probably done this before. The level of violence had likely escalated over the years. Callan also described Joran as cold and calculated. Callan recognized that he was in the presence of pure evil.
He came from a fairly normal family, seemed like a child of privilege. Very early on, they figured that something was the matter with Joran, that he was potentially a monster. He beat one of his brothers nearly to death.
Thompson shared with us surveillance photos from the night in Peru when Vandersloot killed Flores. You can see Vandersloot and Flores entering the hotel. Then, Vandersloot exits alone. He also shared with us crime scene photos, an investigator's sketch of the crime scene, and Stephanie Flores' grave. A sad reminder that two young women who never met are so eerily connected.
Two families sitting there watching surveillance tape from a casino of their daughters and this man, the only suspect in either case.
Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Marie Pereira. Marie, you're in New York there. This is a case that, I remember being glued to the television when she disappeared. And I may be biased, but I think he got away with that murder. And to plead guilty now to at least some sort of relation to the Natalee Holloway case, the extortion charges. How do you think that moves the ball forward? Do you think this will definitely help the family, at least a step in the right direction to some sort of justice?
It is a step in the right direction because you know what they say, justice delayed is not justice denied. I feel that this extortion plea is incomplete justice, but it's something. And it doesn't really bar any murder charges should they have enough evidence to charge him with murder, because there's no statute of limitation on murder. So for now, at least it's something for him to admit what he did, the grief he put on that family, the lies he told to them, and the just heinous nature of him just trying to extort the mother and father like that. And all they wanted was just to really just find the body and put their child to rest and give her a proper burial. It's something, but it's incomplete justice in my eyes.
Yeah, from his standpoint, though, why plead guilty unless he wants to go back to Peru, where he undoubtedly has a little life in the prison there, and they want him back. You hear these stories, a Peruvian jail must be horrible. But on the other hand, I don't know that hanging out in the Alabama prison system is going to be much better for him. And this may be calculated on his part, given what we know about him. And I just can't see him at this point saying, I want to do the right thing.
It may be calculated, and I think that it has a lot to do with the strength of the people's case as far as the murder, and maybe they just don't have enough to pin the murder on him and find him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in our court system. And for now, maybe after conferring with the family, if this is all they can get as far as justice, then they just have to take it, because the evidence has to be there. It's been so long, maybe they just cannot prove that murder on him beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, and but for the Holloways, Beth Holloway, she does get to see him face to face in a courtroom, Alabama. It's a different scenario than she wanted, but the bottom line is they were able to see him, and they will again when he pleads guilty, as we expect him to.
That has to probably feel good to some degree, like yeah, he has to at least plead guilty to something, but I'm sure it's still very devastating for Beth and the whole family. But I really hope, like, I could see him though tomorrow. I mean, I could see him going in front of the judge tomorrow and being like, I am not taking a plea now. I'm just going to plead not guilty. Like, no plea deal, not doing it. Or taking the plea deal and then just not telling the truth. But if he doesn't tell the truth and they know that he's lying, I'm not sure. I don't know what happens then. Like, I mean, they could tell him don't lie, but he could just continue to lie. They could add on years to his sentence for contempt of court. But if he's already serving all these years and he doesn't care, the penalty for extortion, that I don't really know. I should look that up. Penalty, let me see. Because they're giving him a deal too. Alabama. Tell me what it is. It's a Class C felony. I'll have to look into that. I'm not sure how many years he would get for that. So it's not going to be live on TV, I don't think, because I was really looking for that. But I heard, actually read it too. We read it through that article that Beth, her mom so Natalee's mom's going to come out after court, after like everything's done. And they go to court, I believe at 10:30 in the morning. And she's going to come out and do a press conference afterwards. And she's going to tell everybody exactly what he told investigators. So I guess she could do that. Because she said, that's what I'm going to do. Like, she told CNN that's what she's going to do. Let me see here. It says, Beth Holloway, Natalee's mother, will hold a news conference following the hearing to make public what Vandersloot told FBI authorities. So I'll make sure I keep my ears and eyes open. I may have to go to the doctor tomorrow in the morning. I'm not sure if we're going yet or not, because it's kind of far and it's really early in the morning. But we'll live stream it. We'll figure it out. I'll come on and I'll tell you what she's at least saying. So I looked up crime scene photos like for the hotel. And they're out there. I didn't realize that they were like all of them were out there. But I'm not going to show you like anything that's graphic. But I just wanted to show you where he killed that girl, because if you look, there's no room. That you could see where you can go through up here. Let me see. Like there's the hallway. That's like a hallway right here. And then there's the bathroom. And then this is just all open right here. So she was literally like trapped in that room. There was like, if he's standing right here between this TV and this wall, he could block her. Hey, Debbie, welcome in. 15 years. I was thinking, what was I thinking 15? Maybe I read that somewhere because I was thinking 15. Maybe Nancy said it on the podcast I was listening to. But that's where he killed Stephanie Flores. And then this is like the other part of the room. So that's like the bed. Like if you come around that corner. So, I mean, that's just devastating in itself. So I'm really hoping that he says where she's at. I don't know. Nancy doesn't seem to be convinced. But I didn't realize that Nancy had just been in Peru. So she's actually pretty funny in this episode in the beginning, that because she's Nancy, but she was saying that they went to Peru because they were trying to find answers for Natalee. So he killed her like a year after, a year after. So he's a monster. Yeah. And we're all supposed to pretend like he didn't do anything to Natalee though. He messed up after that. His dad was a judge actually over in Aruba. So he's from money and from a little power over there. And that's what got him and the other two guys, I feel like, out of there a lot faster than if it were, to be somebody else. And with her being, somebody from, foreign, foreign country, I think that back then, especially because stuff like this, really, you didn't hear about this kind of stuff. I think they just didn't know what to do with themselves either. Those officers didn't know what to do, but I don't think that they did enough. I feel like there should have been more. Well, Cheryl got her new phone working. It's awesome. I'm surprised he got off there alive too. I'm surprised that someone really didn't maybe do something to him in one of those, in the Peru, Peruvian or Peru. No, he's in Peru. He's in Peru prison because that's where he unalived Stephanie. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play Nancy. She's on one tonight. Let me tell you, got her behind me too. She didn't tell me happy birthday though. I don't know why she won't tell me happy birthday. She refuses. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. If you guys don't mind just hitting the like button, it really does help. Subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you. We do go live every evening, usually at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we go live and we talk about different true crime cases that are happening throughout the world. Well, right now it's the world. Usually it's the United States, but tonight we're going abroad.
Give me any reason that I should believe Joran Vandersloot now? I'm not hearing anything, because Joran Vandersloot has told at least, focus on at least 7 different stories about how Natalee Holloway, the American Beauty all-A student, heading off to college in pre-med, how she seemingly vanished without a trace with him. Natalee, on her high school senior trip to Aruba, was heavily chaperoned. The school didn't do anything wrong. The chaperones didn't do anything wrong. Enter Joran Vandersloot. Joining me is Cheryl McCollum, host of a hit podcast, Zone 7, forensics expert, and founder director of the Cold Case Research Institute. Cheryl, this case has gone on for so long. You and I have just gotten back from Aruba with Natalee's mother, Beth, where we really left no stone unturned trying to get any type of renewed evidence or renewed clue. And I got to tell you, do you remember, Cheryl, when we all drove? 2 things really stick in my mind out of so many, well, 3, including us being threatened with arrest and you running and leaving me there. But that, But that said, we went to the tip of the island and saw the lighthouse where many people had said she had been buried.
I have to unplug something really quick. So I just wanted to tell you guys. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. We figured it out. Okay, let's see if this works. There's an update for StreamYard, and that's what's been messing up with my camera. So I don't know. I thought that would fix it, but it didn't. So I'm going to keep playing, Nancy.
It was so desolate. It was so windy. Remember, it would blow things over. And that pack of wild dogs that were starving and their little ribs sticking out, just begging for food. It was rocky. Just the thought of her bones being in some makeshift grave there. And the story that Beth, Natalee's mother, told us when she was there, she got there the night she learned Natalee was not on the boat returning home. And she had been frantic, just out of her mind, looking for her daughter. She went everywhere, to the casino where Natalee had been, to the bar, Carlos and Charlie's, where she had been, the hotel, everywhere, just running. And the hours and hours passed. The police weren't helping her. And she went to this, there was a small mountain, more like a steep hill And she was so beside herself. She saw a roadside cross. She said, "Stop." And the guy let her out. And she literally threw herself on the ground and was beating the ground and crying and praying and screaming, "Where is Natalee? Help me find Natalee." And she looked up and she saw another cross, and she basically walked/crawled in the dirt to the next cross. And then there was another, and it was taking her up the mountain. It was one of those Stations of the Cross walks. And she went up either 12 or 17 crosses up the side of that steep hill. And at the top, there was a chapel, which is about the size of a kitchen. And she said for the first moment, she felt peace. And she knew in her heart at that moment that Natalee was dead. I will never forget, and to think she's been going through this for so long.
You know, Nancy, I always tell people that a lot of times you and I, when we're at a scene or we're with a family, you're a prosecutor and I'm a crime scene investigator, and we can't stop being those things. But in that moment, we were three mamas. And I mean, I just remember looking at you at one point, and I mean, there was no words needed to be spoken, but we were both just so choked up, and our heart was breaking for her, telling us that story. And then the three of us going up that hill to that chapel.
So tomorrow morning, it comes full circle. Joran Vandersloot, who after he murdered Natalee and has never told the truth about what happened, he, of course, the judge's son, never gets prosecuted. There's no real investigation in Aruba. Aruba doesn't care about a missing American girl. They couldn't care less. They're all about protecting the father, the judge, and he's all about protecting his son, Joran Vandersloot. He leaves, he goes to Peru, where he kills another girl, Stephanie Tatiana Flores, a beautiful young girl who he also happened to meet in a local casino. They leave the casino and she ends up dead. He bludgeoned and strangled her dead, and then went out and got breakfast. 5 years to the day. He strangled and bludgeoned her dead, and then he went out and got like croissants and coffee and sat at the foot of her body and read his iPad and ate his breakfast with her dead body lying there. He finally got convicted in Peru for that. Then that's why he's back in the States. He speaks to Natalee's mother and promises for thousands and thousands of dollars he will tell her where Natalee's remains are. She gives him, I think it was 25 grand. And of course he lies. That's why he's in the U.S. He was extradited here on charges of extortion and fraud. That's why he's here. Part of his deal, Cheryl McCollum, is that he's got to reveal the truth about Natalee. Fat chance. Fat chance. Why is this even happening?
Well, you know, he originally pled not guilty. Then they worked out this deal with him where the FBI is supposed to verify every single thing that he's saying in this statement. I believe there's a chance they've already done that. And that's what they've been waiting on, for them to say, yep, we've kind of verified everything he said. We have found witnesses. We talked to the Capo brothers. So I'm prayerful.
You do know it's
Calpo.
Calpo.
I know.
Kalpoe. And you insist on saying Capo. It's Calpo. Calpo.
Well, they're POSs.
Who
I'll tell you
also
that.
need to be prosecuted. You know what?
100%.
You're right. So are you telling me you believe the story he's going to spout out tomorrow morning has been corroborated?
I believe that is what's happened. I believe that's what has been going on all this time. And that's why tomorrow they've set the date, because the FBI, I believe, has cooperated.
How many stories has he told so far, and what were they?
Oh my gosh, Nancy. Oh, that he dropped her off at the hotel was one. Then he left her at the beach. Then he buried her in front of, you know,
Can you
this
slow
new
down?
hotel.
He did first say he dropped her off at the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, next.
He gave her to the security guards. She fell and hit her head. He left her at the beach. He buried her under a new hotel they were building.
You know, you're leaving out so much detail. And I'm very surprised because a story rich in detail makes it more believable. The story that he gave about leaving her at the beach was that she, Natalee Holloway, wanted to have sex with him, Joran Vandersloot.
Right.
No, that did not happen. And that he, Joran Vandersloot, said, no, I can't do it. It would be wrong, and leaves her on the beach. That is one story. Does anybody in this studio, okay, nobody believes that. That's a lie. That he left her at the hotel, that's a lie. That she choked on something and died lying on the beach. How likely is that scenario? That he slips her a roofie and at the casino, she leaves with him and the Calpo brothers, Satish and who's Satish's brother? They leave in the car with Vandersloot and Natalee in the back seat, leaving her friends. She would never have done that. And then she just happens to choke and die on the beach. That's not true. Didn't he say he buried her at the construction site of the new hotel?
Correct.
That was a story. Then there was a story about burying her, destroying her body and burying her with dog bones and crushing them. Remember that?
All mixed together. And his dad, remember, this is the most bogus statement I've ever heard. He says his dad comes up and says, wait right here. I'm going to go get some, bags and some other stuff, and I'll be back. And me and you were like, what parent tells their child, stay with this dead body, I'll be back? I mean, the whole thing was so bogus, it was ridiculous.
Let's see, there's a hotel. Oh, wait. Then there's a story where he threw her body overboard, like took it out to sea. Now there's a story because of an email he sent to a friend that he got a boat and took her out to sea. Or is he blaming his father since he gave his father a heart attack and the father died? Is he going to blame everything on his dad now? And we're actually going to eat that with a silver spoon? I will gag on that.
Nancy, he also said he threw her in a swamp. Remember that one? He also said he buried her, up in the hills where there's a cemetery. I mean, there's lie after lie, story after story. None of them are believable. None of them.
I'm curious as to why apparently the authorities are set to believe it now. I mean, his story, and I take that with a box of salt, but how could they possibly have corroborated any story that he's telling now this late in the game?
Unless the brothers have come forward, if they went and interviewed them, if there's other eyewitnesses, you don't know who all was involved. Mama had to know. Mama had to know that Daddy left and went somewhere. She knew they were on those computers typing like they were in touch with each other over email. She knows. Remember even the story Beth told us when Beth was giving them those bracelets and Mama just broke down crying and saying she was sorry. She's sorry because she knows the truth.
Do you think the way that they have corroborated it, if they have, is through, I remember his last name is Deepak, Satish and Deepak Kalpo, through them? And if so, why aren't they being prosecuted?
Well, we don't know what's going on over there if something's in the works. I think after tomorrow, they are not going to be able to ignore it anymore. It's going to be, full court press, I think, at that point, because whatever comes out tomorrow, and if it's been corroborated in any way, let's say she's been recovered if she was not taken out to sea.
You don't think we would have heard that by now if her body had been discovered or her remains? We would know.
I don't know. We just found out within days that he was going to, confess to it. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I am hopeful that Beth is finally going to get some answers. Nancy, she sat with us in front of that chapel. And this is the part that just broke my heart. She looked at the two of us and said, I know y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but I brought her passport just in case.
She said that for 10 years after her daughter went missing on her high school senior trip, that she took Natalee's passport everywhere she went. She never left the house without Natalee's passport on her body, in her purse, in her suitcase, wherever she went, in the hopes that she would get a call that Natalee had been found, and she would have to go to Natalee and bring her home.
I mean, this is a mama that spent $25,000 to find out where parts of her might be. This is a mama that has gone just to great lengths to get any part of her back. That's all she's ever asked for. So again, I am prayerful that tomorrow she is going to get that opportunity.
I want that too, but I don't know that I can believe anything that Joran Vandersloot says. And if he's being backed up by two other liars, Deepak and Satish Kalpo, I mean, is that the corroboration? I'm going to have a lot more corroboration than that. And we're asking a federal judge to swallow it hook, line, and sinker. I also wonder, is he getting lighter treatment in exchange for his news story about what happened to Natalee Holloway? I mean, I know that he raped her because he could describe her underwear in great detail to her family when they went down looking for her. I believe he said it had flowers on it. He could describe it and the mom recognized it. What?
They were embroidery, he said. So again, I mean, even in the dark, in the back seat of a car, he can see that well. I mean, he knew too much intimate about her.
Wait, are you actually debating whether he killed her or raped her? I don't need to prove that. I already know that.
No, I'm saying he knew too much information about her underwear in a dark back seat. Clearly he did. Clearly he harmed her before he killed her.
Or on a beach. So,
right.
Oh, well, you left out the story about the fisherman's huts. That was a story that she was killed and left at the fisherman's hut. I mean, there's just been so many stories. And do you remember when the party boat was seized and searched based on
and the DJ arrested?
The DJ arrested, yes, under one of the theories that was the boat used to dump her body. Now, we're learning about apparently an email that was sent through a so-called friend of Joran Vandersloot's that has details. We are expected to learn that he is saying, well, wait, what's his news story, Cheryl?
That they got a boat. His dad somehow got a boat and they took care of business. And that's all he was going to say about it.
Yes, an email sent by Joran Vandersloot revealing a piece of evidence just 2 days after Natalee goes missing. This email, we're just now learning about it. Vandersloot writes to a friend, quote, "My dad got a boat. 2 days later, we went for a ride and took care of things." Quote, "That's all I'm going to say." As the Aruban police twiddle their thumbs watching Natalee's mother running frantically around the island, if this is to be believed, that means her body was being held somewhere for 2 days before Joran Vandersloot and his father, the judge, disposed of the body. For 2 days, they had time to find her body. Cheryl?
Nancy, if you remember, it took Beth and her whole group less than an hour to track him down. Now, that is somebody from another country who's panicked, but yet she was able to go to the Holiday Inn, get to Carlos and Charlie's, get information about Joran Vandersloot, get his address, and go to his house. But police there can't bother to do that. They can't search
it
for her.
Or search it.
Yeah, they didn't start search until the 5th of June.
Now, another interesting point is that neither Vandersloot nor his father owned a boat, so they would have had to borrow or rent the boat. Now, that's leaving a trail a mile wide, Cheryl McCollum, but Aruba police didn't find that.
No, they didn't even look. They didn't try to track that down. But you remember when we were over by the fish hut, there were boats just pulled up. I mean, they could have easily just stolen one for the brief time they would have needed it.
I'm trying to figure out what is going to happen now. Number one, Joran Vandersloot is a liar. Even when the mom, Beth, paid him 25 grand, he still lied to her. I don't know what his story is going to be tomorrow, but apparently they're pinning a lot of hope on this email that he sent, this letter, so to speak, that he sent 2 days after Natalee goes missing. And why they haven't found that before, or did they? I don't know. That said, we are understanding that the FBI has corroborated some of his news story. I don't know that that will ever be able to satisfy Beth, because I don't know that she'll ever truly believe it's real, Cheryl.
No, I agree, Nancy. But, you know, this has been a saga that you and I have been with her the whole time. We sat with her in 2005. We sat with her at that chapel in Aruba, and we are going to be sitting with her tomorrow in court. And again, I pray that she gets the answers that she needs.
What do you think will then happen to Joran Vandersloot? I hate for him to go back to Peru, because in the Peruvian jail where he's spending time, sentenced to hard time in the murder of Stephanie Tatiana Flores, who killed 5 years to the day that he murdered Natalee. Again, he also met her in a casino, same way he met Natalee. When he goes back there, again, when you don't know a horse, look at his track record. He has unlimited conjugal visits. He has drugs. He has alcohol. He gets whatever he wants. He's already had a wife, 2 babies, and a new girlfriend because she is, quote, younger. Why would he not want to go back there? What?
Well, here's one little piece that'll be different for him. He cannot confess without the Calpo, whatever brothers being
Calpo,
involved.
Satish, and Deepak. Write it down.
They drove him away. They were involved in wherever they went. The moment they left Carlos and Charlie, they were part of this. So whatever he says tomorrow, when he does get back to Peru, he's going to go as a snitch. And I don't care what prison you're talking about. That is a horse of a different color. I'm telling you.
Right. Like, you think the Calpos are going to order a hit on him behind bars in a Peruvian jail when we're still back in Aruba?
No, but the other inmates will know he's a snitch.
He's king of the jail in Peru. They're not going to do a thing. The guards protect him. Listening, not hearing. Look, the only hope is that based on what he says tomorrow, and of course, many people think this won't happen, that he will confess to some sort of blame in Natalee's death, and that Aruba will then prosecute him. That's the only place he can be prosecuted for murder.
And that is absolutely what I think needs to happen. I think Aruba, if this happens at 9:30, they'll be done by 11 o'clock. I think by 1 o'clock our time, they need to have a statement out that what they're going to do about it.
So, Cheryl McCollum, question regarding Joran Vandersloot's story that he's going to tell tomorrow morning. Many people believe Aruba will never prosecute him, no matter what. Do you think that they will? I know you think that they should. Of course they should. But do you think that they will?
I think tomorrow it's going to be a whole lot tougher for them not to, because this is not something they can explain away. The other, quote, confessions, they said, well, he was smoking marijuana, we can't take it. Or it was done this way and we can't accept it. Tomorrow, this is in a federal court. This is now a legal confession that he's done through an attorney. They can't not accept it.
I'm thinking through all of the ramifications that could happen tomorrow. A lot of evidence has been placed on a letter to someone, David G. It's an email describing how he and his father dumped Natalee's body at sea. What boat did they use? Is there any way to corroborate that? The Calpo brothers know what happened the night that Natalee was murdered. But yet, even after all this time, they have never revealed that. Cheryl, I believe because it would implicate them.
Agreed. And that's what I'm saying. I think there's more than one witness. There's more than one person that's got information and knowledge. And if he starts to tell this story that lines up with what these people can say, this is what happened. He contacted me. We went here, we went there. Boom, we've got him. And if they can line this up and show, here's his story, this is his final shot to tell the truth, I do not believe tomorrow would be happening if they didn't have all these ducks in a row. I don't believe that. They're not going to let him make this show and make this confession through an attorney and then go check it. I think they did it before.
One thing I believe, while many people seemingly have forgotten about the Natalee Holloway case, when we are with Beth, when you and I are with her, it's very clear that the pain and the emotion and the bereavement is still just beneath the surface. It's still very raw for her. Her pain has never gone away.
She wears that bracelet, hope, faith, and love. And, you know, again, at one point, she basically says to us, y'all both have daughters. What would you do for her? Well, I mean, there's no question what you would do for Lucy or what I would do for Caroline or our sons. But, I mean, she basically put that out there. Of course I'm going to go to Aruba. Of course I'm going to give him $25,000. Of course I'm going to go and meet with him in prison. Of course I'm going to do all of these things and do all these interviews and go to all this extreme searches for my child.
Tomorrow morning, we will be in court with Beth in front of the judge. We will see Joran Vandersloot, whether he allocutes, speaks, or whether he has a written statement, which I would imagine would be what he would rather do. It will all unfold tomorrow. Will he tell the truth? Will he be forced to tell the truth? He's never told the truth in the past. Based on what he says tomorrow, will Aruba actually open up a murder investigation and follow through? If they don't, what, if anything, can be done about it? And why wouldn't they? That's a question that we have been asking for years. Why is Aruba so hell-bent on obfuscating the truth and the Natalee Holloway murder? Will we get answers tomorrow? We wait as justice unfolds. Goodbye, friend.
Okay. So I don't know what happened to my camera. It was a StreamYard glitch, and then it just now won't come back on. I didn't realize the StreamYard glitch was back from the other day. But Nancy is going tomorrow. Yeah, she's very close with Beth, Natalee's mom. She's covered this case since it happened back in 2005. So she'll be there tomorrow. And it sounds like Sharon McCollum is going with her. So I didn't get to listen to that podcast or that video all the way through. I was listening to the podcast version earlier, but I didn't realize that she was going to actually be there. So she'll be able to give us updates as well. But if I see that Natalee's mom comes on, because she's supposed to come on and do a press conference right after, court happens. So he's going to be in there at 9:30. If I do go to the doctor, it'll be a little bit later, like an afternoon live, because my doctor's appointment is at 10 o'clock. But if I don't end up needing to go to that appointment, then I will be, on with the updates as soon as they happen. So make sure you're subscribed and you got the bell icon all alerted, and I'll figure out my camera before tomorrow, hopefully. Really? Everyone was having issues, Reba? Yeah, they did. That's what they did. So they did an update last. I hate not having my camera because I feel like I'm talking to you guys, but I'm not. Last week they had a new update, and if you do like a thumbs up, like if I were to do like a thumbs up, it's supposed to put this little emoji up, and for some reason it's just glitching out, and I didn't know that it was on, so I forgot to turn it off. And it's called reactions. So if anyone else is having troubles, it's because their reactions is turned on. If you see a little bubble above my head with a little white bubble and has a thumbs up, and then my camera goes down, that's not a thumbs up. That's a thumbs down, guys. I'm like, why are they thumbsing up that? It makes no sense. But I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I really hope that he tells where everything that happened. I hope he tells exactly what happened. And he gives Beth a little bit of peace of mind, but I don't think that's probably going to be all of it. I don't think he'll do that for her. Yes, like like on the iPhone. Yes, Rima. I don't know how it does that. I don't know. Like I noticed it the other day. I was like, Vincent, why is it doing a thumbs up? It's weird. You'll see it if you go back in the video because before my camera cut off, I didn't realize that Vincent was trying to get my attention. I thought my camera was on. I was like, oh, my camera was off. So he'll be in court tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in Alabama court. They're not live streaming the court proceeding. They've been keeping a lot of it like under wraps, but like I said, Beth will be outside after they're done, and she is going to tell everybody what Vandersloot told to FBI authorities. So she's going to let us know, and then Nancy will be there too, I'm sure. So that'll be kind of cool. Which too bad they can't see us live. We can see them live because I would show her my Nancy. But yeah. So I'm going to jump off here. I wanted to do, get this live in for you guys. If you guys missed the live from earlier today, it was a really good live. We went over the case of Chelsea Grimm. She is the missing person out of Arizona. She lives in California, but she's missing out of Arizona. I'm going to put the link to that in the chat if you guys wanted to watch that live. We're just trying to get the word out there. Beautiful girl missing. Mainstream media is picking it up. So we're going to keep you updated with that case as well. So we've got some new cases. But thank you guys all for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. It was a great birthday. Thank you guys for wishing me happy birthday. I truly appreciate that. If you guys wouldn't mind just hitting the like button on the way out, subscribe to the channel, all the good things. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, guys.